We are the biggest, we are the largest, we are the tallest, we are the greatest, we are the largest African spiritual platform. I'm always Queen Hadasha, call me Empress Makida. I am Labraska, the sun goddess. I am Ghana's #1 spiritual goddess. #1, ebi nie chukwu echi abepim, ukwu enima obepim, nam kachiro. I am me. I am the largest. I am the greatest. I am the tallest. Ebinum BP akosoro taking it easy. Ubetumi akase epo yo dia obi emo. Me man kran krebia kwaba edeba the biggest, the mother of all spiritual platform. We are unkillables. We are the mightiest. And they are not at the fufro. You will be with hand most of Bekasa empowerment. In a power, meaning saying me power, bring some power. Anything power. We are here. Platform way is open. Anything can happen here. Minam catchro. That create waha no one no garden of the day no. Wa belande sometime for the interview. We are ready for anything. Even Moses Kurenya ne bende ye be interview no ha. Man kran krebia kwaba with lots of love. Don't forget to love your neighbor. Love, 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 and hate. It's not good. Let's welcome our guest for today. Papa, we welcome you to Revelations.
All right. Thanks so much.
Great. Today is your first time on this bigger platform. Sure. So pay obeisance to my followers, the subscribers. They make this platform the biggest. We will not move without them.
Sure.
And introduce yourself to us. We are bring some crying. I ready. Now I introduce you. When I heard so the best shafa random so
my name is Frank Quaye. I'm a freelance writer. I'm an accountant. I'm a law student and a corporate MC. So I'm basically here to share my views as a young man about youth empowerment. Over the years, I've held leadership positions. I've also gone through the church system. In fact, in the last 20 years, all my life has been about church. But then after some time, I realized that there were some inconsistencies with the faith, the doctrines, and even the Bible itself, which will not go into the Bible, but about the doctrines. I would want to focus on the doctrines. So I just decided to pass through this all-important program to share with the youth about some of these inconsistencies that I've realized, and then how I've been able to move out of that, and the progress that I've made after moving out of these things. So basically, that is why I've asked for this opportunity. So thanks so much for it being granted, and I hope that would really be imparted after this all-important program. Thank you.
Inconsistent. Bakuno na ye incompetent. They say you're inconsistent. Platform way. So what are you saying? You've been a Christian for 20 years.
In fact, over all my life, over 20 years. I'm just 30. I was just 30 this year.
So you started when you're 8 years, 2 years, and you do cool.
Yeah, all my life.
And I'm making
sure.
And you feel how many years in it?
So I've been in the church. In fact, moving totally. Let me say, it's just the last 2 years. But when I started encountering these things, it was in a span of 5. It was some time back. But then I was still given
5 years in.
Me 2 years.
2 years
but the thoughts. Say no, this thing that you are doing, is it the right thing? Do you really understand?
We will come there. That is your topic, but I want to understand some things.
What 2
years in? What's 2 years in? Niyama wa achieve. Any work no said ya na why what I mean, explain that part.
All right, so the example be explaining into when I was in the church virtually, me ko ejuma na ejuma na me ye no me po ejuma me ba sorry, I was a youth leader in my church and see me time from Monday if I'm not at work, then you say more program be then it's always at the church. So the issue is that I didn't really make time for myself. But what I was doing was that I was virtually praying, organizing programs for the youth and all of that, which somewhat is good. But me who say I didn't really make time to find who I am. Because they be an and one. But what's really instigated the immediate reason for moving out was when I had admissions to the law school. And as a year problem. Now I was going to pay almost, it was around 15,000, other things included almost 20,000, and I had to pay all of these without anybody's help. So for me, I reached out to the church and other people, and there was no help. In fact, I wanted to step out, but I was like, no, let me do this. I had encouragement from people who had attempted, and they told me that I should just try. We'll try here. Some way, somehow, you would find ways, and then you would do that. So, personally, I decided to move more into the side business that I do. So, beyond me being a full accountant, I was also an MC. So, I was like, if the accounting work is paying me this, and per my calculation, I would not be able to footage all my expenses together with the fees with just what I'm making from the accounting work. What do I do then? So at the time, as a corporate MC, I was just doing it for fun. Once in a while I take money and all of that, but I realized that no, I can do more. So then let me rebrand myself. So this thought came. I decided to go on social media platforms. I changed, initially my names on social media was Frank Quaye. Then I decided to change it MC Frank. In fact, when I went to the law school, I changed my WhatsApp name from Frank Quaye to MC Frank. And I tell you, as we sit, everyone knows me at the University of Ghana School of Law as MC Frank. And the number of programs that I've gotten there, I started to invest into myself to get someone with a camera. I go for programs, they follow me, we take videos, I post on my platforms. And at that time, I was taking less than 1,000 cedis for a program. Now as we speak, I'm able to go for programs. Sometimes I take 4,000 and all of that. This was a bold step that I took, and it was only possible when I moved out of the church, made time for myself. And then, because initially I was thinking prayer, when we pray things will work out, but we've prayed and prayed and prayed and things were not. But when I moved out, took time and then really had an introspection and saw what I could do for myself in that time, that was when I was able to move out. So that is basically about some of the things that the immediate one that moved me out of the church.
And is it because they didn't give you money for your fees? That's why you moved out?
No, I realized that I needed to make time, because if they're not giving money and I go there to pray and pray and pray, when the school fees comes, it is not about vacuum. You have to take money out of your pocket. So then I had to channel the time and energy from the church activities to other things. And that is what a lot of people are doing. In fact, myself, I was striking a balance. But then there are some people in the church that, up till now, they are always there 24/7. In the night, they don't even make time for themselves. Now there's Alpha Hour. In addition to being a Catholic, I was a Catholic. Beyond being a Catholic, they go for church. They close at 8. They get home. Instead of resting, they also sit for this Alpha Hour thing. They come to, some of them, I work with them. They come to work sleeping and all of that. And there's no progress in, if you watch them, you engage them, you can see that spiritually they feel they are up there, but it's a physical world too. You cannot lose sight of the physical part of the world. So they are not progressing there. But in my life, my short period at my workplace, I've even moved from various ranks. And as I speak, I started as an accounts officer. Today, I'm in a better position. So
are you saying there is nothing in prayer?
I'm not saying there's nothing in prayer, but I believe that prayer, what is prayer itself? If I should ask you, what is prayer?
Tell us, you are here.
Exactly. For me, I believe that prayer is basically communication with your creator or who you believe in. And so I don't know what their definition of prayer is, but when I was in church, we organized program, crusades and all of that. As someone who has had introspection and all of that, I realized that prayer is something that makes you feel like, or God feel like he's not perfect. Because if the Bible, the Christian's Bible, tells us that God is perfect, he created all things, he has given us the power as people, the power to think, to do things. If I should go back to the church, or I should sit in my room and pray over the period, it's like I'm telling God that it's not perfect. Because what do I need that I need to pray for? Is it life? Is it sanity of mind? Is it the money? Because already God has given you life. What you need to be able to make what you want to make, or the things that you need, are already within you. So the prayer that you are praying for, the life that you are praying for, and all of that, God has given you, and that is on a fair platform. Everyone has life, and I always say that once you have life, and you are sane, like you're not a lunatic, and then you are sane here, whatever you believe in, you can achieve it, and it has really worked for me. Trust me. So for me, I don't believe.
Say, what are you?
For me, I'm a Ghanaian.
You are not a Christian. Are you an atheist now?
No, I'm not an atheist.
So what are you?
So let me say this: at a point in time,
now you're Wakana Pass.
I'm just there.
Wakana Pass.
Exactly. So I at a point in time, I denounced God and all of that. And who is an atheist? They tell you an atheist is someone who doesn't believe that there's just that supreme being and all of that. When I ask the Christians about who God is, they see God as some Gandalf man seated up there. Osha Jehovah Witness for ye and Kolano Shom book now, but say Papa be out through Nasa Senate than in I see or share into Bompire be brand more blessings. that is the basic idea of God to the normal Christian. But for me, I believe there's God, but I don't see God as that kind of people. I believe He is my mind. I drink there's our energy now me sorry me sorry no pa because say me kwa we that conscience say me ko you be there I down am kwa fast our conscience na catch me say don't take this, the intuition to take decisions, that is something that I cannot feel, but something that keeps me going, it keeps me energetic and all of that. That is what I see God as. So I believe there's something exists beyond us. Exactly.
You are a young man, you know that?
Yes, please.
Okay. You are in the middle of the youth.
Sure.
Both in school, when you go for programs as
sure.
as MC, you are in the midst of your age group.
Sure.
Tell me 3 damages that you feel it has caused the youth, religion has caused the youth.
The first one is that they're making them think that thinking less of themselves, making them feel incapable, and it stems from the fact that the Bible tells us that you were born a sinner, saved by grace. Yeah, woman, I didn't know anything about any Bible. But many years now, me Sunday school, catch them say you're a sinner saved by grace, and you need to be saved before you can enjoy some afterlife something. And so the first thing that I think has been a problem is the low self-esteem part of religion, because it makes you feel like, okay, you need some external force. You cannot do it yourself. You need some Holy Spirit, or you need some third party, which I think it's not. So I connect it to grace. And I'll give you an example. Maybe SS, me 5 A's, 3 B's, and me apply to the University of Ghana. Now me say me a cons, but me selecting me choose accounting, business administration first, and then I chose a cons because I was very good in a cons. But I chose until me apply a Legon. They released that time. No more releasing in 3 badges. The first badge was released because the grades were good. The first badge was released. I wasn't part. Second badge was released. I wasn't part. After the number year machine, so my catcher me say after high school, some call university. That would be my end. I had said this because I believed so much in myself. So I went to the school and they told me that I should relax. Now, third one, you be released. That they were supposed to release on Monday, Sunday or Monday. So that Sunday, I went to church and I prayed. In fact, for me, I'm quite sorry because it's a Sunday, but I didn't really have an encounter with what the Christians would say, God, so I was in church. In fact, my priest saw me that day and he was laughing because ordinarily when I come to church, me boys. But that day I sat in front because for me it was a World Cup. Like I said, Matamfo Benyami. I said, Wakasasa and I feel in your school. So I sat in front of the first pew, and in the Catholic Church, if you are aware, we are very solemn. Until after homily, we don't pray out. We meditate after you meditate. But Miss Ada and I was together with a friend. We prayed. The bonfire to say World Cup, and my priest, he was up there. He was surprised. He was watching us. So I prayed, and that day I told God in a prayer, because at the time I believed so much in the Christian. I told him that if really there's God. And now all these years I must spend was sorry. You be not what say there on show. On show no. And after this way, if I don't get it, that will be the end. So coincidentally, right after church, your boys say wa bonti aye bon komo na madam for be on no final year or Legon or frame me. On na or checking my on can me school ko shade ntia me. And then he called me and was like, Frank, me madam for no. We na ba list na ba e din wo. So in fact, I was so happy.
Jesus has done it.
Exactly. So at the time, I was so happy. I was like, wow. So in fact, that was when I even started I had started writing. But that was the very first time I wrote something about and I saw it as my encounter with God, because I challenged God and I put it out there.
And
boom, people, the response is, wow, you are a good writer, you are this. But later, you'll be a progress, and I'm very curious. I like to question myself to find knowledge. That's why I tell people that don't be surprised. Today, this is what I'm thinking and feeling. That's why I'm saying this. The next moment, if I learn something different, I become a different person. I'm not static. So when I went to school, I decided to find out. Because I had people who look up to you. I'm fully forms. So I went to the registry and I inquired. Then when I went there, the gentleman there told me that I had qualified for the course now, which you see here. But the problem was that my course is my elective mass. And now, your concert, those are more elective mass. No, they are prioritized over more elective mass. So that was the reason. And there were people who had done elective as a pass, so they had to be given placement before you, but not because Jesus. And Jesus, you understand? So I had qualified, but Obebi say you meet people later and you ask them into your then Legon and as on your general school because say grace. Meanwhile, on the ground, it wasn't grace. And my problem is that when you leave it there as grace, you don't progress. Now tell the person what happened. Okay, course I'm here, say I'm here, and I'm choose to course way and per the standard or the rules. I'm not supposed to do this course. I didn't choose it well, and these were the reasons. So that next time we'll be so apply here. Or say okay, if I didn't
choose exactly from SHS.
That is how we make progress. But when you leave it there as grace, then you become
last.
Exactly. So it's the same example. I mean, yesterday say Ghana ni Quaye boy, you know, the two teams prayed to God on the field. At the end of the day, Quaye won against Ghana. Yebisa Quaye captain in an interview after closing interview or see grace. And I was like, no. If you watch the game, beyond grace, there was something that happened on the field. The team played with character. They played with all seriousness, with aggression. They played as a team. These are the basic things that they did to bring them the victory, because God is not selective. Because grace, why is that Ghana for no a bonfire nyame and amuna we win? Is it that
I'm born you selective? You are just not to say JHS.
But yes, nyame no ni wakumemu. And so ni wakumemu ebia one boni ye. But you are human, you are fallible and all of that. And so one boni ya or no, you supreme being. No, you should be able to tell say me ba way or per way. But ebia we huni ye ebia
me famano.
And why would you give one and let them believe? Because what if
na say omumi enu ina so bompaye ma Nyankopon tinka Nyankopon obeden go nu so ye baako we ni ye baako tinka nyame obeden
entina ono so because oye nyame oye pepepe no obema odia e wo se mu nyame bebo but o expect say won so
more effort
obedwin e wo field no so obedwin because oho no on be so onan e fa bobo no so wo de wakoma bo ebufu bo training wan ko training coach in the chair there once you didn't pay attention, you didn't focus, and a lot of times Ghana match number focus or more focus, they didn't play with any seriousness as though they are not being paid. These are the basic things. So if you want to find solutions, it is when you pinpoint the problems, that is when you can find solution. But when you leave it there as grace, I think that it doesn't really help us.
The grace are limited youth, you know. That is why maybe three. Sure.
And now make about the thinking, the thoughts say you need some external God be and now will be to help you do things, because me know as a young man when I started the MC work, I don't remember the last time I've prayed in the last 2 years. Me born pay poda. Oh, that me who say there are some things in life or success. When you talk about success, progress and everything, a formula you don't need. But I call it the best person who showed so much love to me beyond my parents, Madame Fubia, not on I was in but sorry, and this guy has so much love. In fact, but through these friends I came to appreciate love, what love really is. And this is a guy who doesn't go up to now on sorry but is the ofrena only because no beya obehwehwe ama ono. So I realized that no, that's beyond everything, no. These, and before religion even came to the, are we trying to say that our people didn't know about love? Our people didn't know about all of these things. And when you even go into the same Bible has reduced the commandments, everything into love. Say loving your God and loving your neighbor. It says you have not seen your God before, but if you love your neighbor, you love your God. So love is something that we all know, regardless. Even before the Bible came, we don't need the Bible to know some of these things. Success. You see, let me channel it to the third one. One thing that religion has robbed us of is here life. You see, in our current situation, the family setting has failed us. I have friends, some of them I had to even talk to them to even start school, to believe in themselves and all of that. Society, leadership, we can attest to the fact. Successive governments, previous governments, they've really failed the youth and all of that. It is a siano obia in a rare akoshe asori mu akoshe asori na beka, because family, these are the agents of socialization. Even the media has failed a lot of people. Family, leadership, the media, schools, education system, it doesn't even bring the imaginative part of you, creative part of you to be able to explore and then do things. So akoka asori, now asori is like a place of hope. And why do I say that? Because if you read the Bible, there are a lot of testimonies, a lot of stories, wild stories about people who didn't have anything. They be so out of Emma go for Felicia. Okay, then if I should go by these ways, I tell you. And you know the funny thing, it's like the church has already filled us, but people are not aware. Because the church in its setting is a very smart place and institution. It has not failed us because it makes us believe that, okay, nyamana oyeni na ehunhia their canal ahano ubetwem keke. So their ohwehwe na e was right maybe you prepare baby amawo nti oho na dachi bi wakotena nti enye ka kese a ope enye we a ope but your china bi baby abakotena no oho na ehunhia. But like we've always seen, and I've even heard on this show, people come, so I have a church in my area. I've been there and they preached this thing a number of times. But if you see the building that they've put up, if you see the cars that the pastors are using, so if you claim that God is coming tomorrow or is coming soon, why do you put up this building? Why do you use? I don't know. Living a life no person or be also friend no dey say we are nyama no the money here so obi eba enya sika no the cotton car o see we are nyama no fa ne sika ne mbra sorry or the bra sorry na sofo no the other cotton car no the talk car they are enye we are nyama. I don't really get. So what religion is robbing us of its life, because you didn't know about the earth before you were born. Me nim say ahati an kamemba. I didn't know about the earth. I wouldn't have been here. But I came. And when I got here, I've crossed the bridge. Family life wasn't so easy. But today I'm proud of my family. Everyone is doing so good because we've taken personal responsibility of our lives. Your life, I share and say, no, we want to change the destiny. Because our father was a fighter. And so, share like in the footsteps. We want to also make a change in our... Exactly. That is basically what we want to do. But because soon we say, you don't have to stress yourself. I have people. Yesterday, a friend, GHS, not on your bomb pie, SU, Scripture Union. Up till now, on near Jumabia, and this guy is a brilliant guy. When the bomb come out, also a pastor. But I mean, if you want to be a pastor, and this has been maybe GHS was somewhere 2009. It means that it is so many years. But this guy has done nothing for himself. And sorry, no person. When you go out there, if you compare our system, that is why I'm saying that religion entirely is not the problem, but how it is practiced here. Because if you look at countries like Qatar is a very religious country, but they've made so much progress. US cry was built somewhat on God factor, but sometimes there are two different schools of thought. Republicans, they are pushing for that part. So some people have been able to make progress with religion. So why is it that young Quaye is very religious? No, we are not able to make the progress. That is the question that and you realize that because we are very superstitious, we are radical, we abuse things. And because the pastors in this day and age, I talk to a lot of pastors and they tell you that, Frank, what you are saying is right. So I ask them, what if this is right? Why are you not telling your people? Why are you not telling them that it is not about coming to church every day of the week? Church is good in that I have issues. You also have issues. Probably you've been able to solve yours. Those times when I was in church, my name I organize for people. They come and pray.
So you where you need now be serious.
Sure, exactly. Inti me bonfire me corner your bo organ now for bonfire. I get inspired now for them. So me God I thank you. God I thank you. God I thank you. It inspires me. We are social beings. We want to belong. At
least we have a few problems.
Exactly.
At least somebody be encourage you know where your emotions
Sure. I would not condemn the church entirely. It's like I'm saying the focus is the practice. Thank you. The reason is that as an MC Jumana me ye eneno. Sorry any school and I'm start here. We are call obi anye ni wedding and for Mike ma say be MC or no wako invest in sika be bride da kunyama. You can't just do that. Sorry your program see beji Mike na kasa kakra
na practice
and I'm the practice and I'm be MC Juma start here. Sorry sir na me cool school no so me the friends we go school me yes sir say I'm friend me corporate MC in actual cry na me sure. But the first time I was made to write, I doubted myself. Obi see metro minutes. That I'm not afraid that me ba call SS. Me say me name sure, but it was church setting. This leadership position, me go for golden English those times. I wanted to also meet me ego. So immediately I got home. I decided to go read about minutes writing. The next day when I came, the next Sunday when I came and then I was asked when I wrote the minute, the guy I don't know how I say name Tron and I'm still and I started from there. Then me Tron and I was empowered. So I won't entirely say sorry, no, because I have also benefited from the church, not financially, but in terms of empowerment, growth. And me a young boy, but meaning for they say, oh, like you are mature, you speak well, and all of that. It is the church setting helped, but the practices which I'm talking about, doctrines, beliefs, share it. Say, it says we are social beings. You want to relate into call our problem, will be problem. So, but in your home, and I don't even want to divert the convo, but you see, I tell my friends that there's this general idea about heaven. I call it this world. I call it a survival world. And people are just ready to kill anybody just to get to the top. I call it a competition, or be a per se, or get it there. And one of humans' greatest fear is death. No matter who you are, who should death. Once you hear death, and answer what is will be and all of that. So it's one thing that bothers people. And humanity has tried as much as possible to find answers to how we can live forever on this earth. What is here? And so I see religion just as in two dimensions. One as a supernatural way of answering the things that a natural way of how do I even call it? Jurisdictional way of finding things that are supernatural. So you are attributing it to religion. And then secondly, it's just a way of answering some of this question about death. In that, I catch you say, okay, we are say you are afraid of death. So, but you want to find access to death, how you would prolong life on earth. Now, religion has come in, and religion is telling us that, okay, if you want to live long, or you want to stay long, or exist forever, these are principles that I'm putting down. And in the Bible, any commandments, it's okay. If you follow this, car, any plane, if you look at science, both are made by plastic. They are made of plastic. But bakutu frame. So if you want your car to fly, you cannot use that same, you have to change the formula. You understand? Until you can't be on earth, do the same things that you are doing and want to see progress, or to want to be immortal. If you want to be immortal, you have to change what? The plan or the formula. And see, how do you change the formula? Religion is okay, when you do this and this and this, as stated in the Bible, you will become immortal. And not only immortality or promise afterlife. Say, okay, for me, as I sit here, I don't even care. When people ask me, I don't know, some say, I'll corner heaven, I'll cross it. But religion is telling you that there's judgment and we are going to enjoy. So that is the promise that religion is even giving to people. And I tell people that Christianity, how do you even call it? The promise is afterlife. So if you are here on earth, I have a physical world. So you can't be here and pray and expect manna to fall. Who has a serious way? Afterlife will into afterlife, no, you're born and no afterlife, no. But no person did dear. I was so Juma, also on a Juma, now a show kotokum. That is something physical. You don't do the spiritual things here and expect to get physical results. It doesn't work like that. Spirituality has its place, logic has its place, science has its place. And the last thing that I think people are not doing is that we are not learning as youth. We are not adventurous. You can't say 1 + 1 is 2. We just accept it, line, hook and sinker. Say okay, 1 + 1. But as people who want to go, you need to ask questions. You need to ask questions, and until you ask questions, because that was what I was asking myself. Me organize evangelism time. I'm a call, me youth leader and all of that. But when I go out and I talk to people, I say me because I don't make catch them and make catch them. But personally, I've not really experienced it, and my integrity and the things that I believe in, they really guide me. So I feel like no. If I should tell you something, I should believe in it, because in life you cannot give what you don't have.
See, I don't know, my youth,
my organizing fasting, but me fasting that.
Oh
yeah, I've never fasted in my life, because I feel like now they do which never fasting. And yet me, if you are me from me, did you need and fast can't tea, and see Adriani, me say a comedy me pa. I easily get angry, so I make sure me control, and it's all about consciousness, which a lot of people are. So you have to be aware of yourself, know what moves for you, and all of that. Obi fees on also bonfire. But when you ask them how, and you ask them the correlation between their success and what, there are people who pray and they've also been able to make it. But when you ask them to correlate, they tell you, oh, divine. They're not able to tell you. But when you when you're conscious, you think outside the box, you realize that successively this and this are the things that you did. So that people, when you are also grooming people, you can tell them that I did this and this was the path that I used. But just to tell them to pray and accept. Into do baby now and but they feel frustrated because they tie their life, happiness and everything to some things.
Gidia any emphasis on the Bible na you are watching the biggest and the largest. Into Gidi so be react now ma abompire ma fibroid aju ye fun afa ye you womb ni ade yina. Ti we ni family or Bible scripture ya na ye can say. Hey, enye easy you. Mercy. You are watching the biggest and the largest. So what is your concept of spirituality?
For me, I find spirituality just basically is about finding meaning in life. And one thing that has really ensured my growth is reflection. I do so much reflection. And every day before I sleep, I sit down to question myself and then what was my plan for the day. And I say, Ochina, what am I going to do? But and then what did I plan? Na eko saying what say eko fine say anko why did it go wrong? Then I find reasons why it didn't go wrong. Then how do I make it so that next time? So I find spirituality as you finding meaning to life. And in my journey, I'm going through what they call faith crisis. That is what they are saying because they know one day I'll come back to the church. But I mean, I don't have a problem with that. But through what I'm going through, I realize that what humanity is going through, the year bread all about, and I would want to use even our brother Funny Face as an example. I don't know if I'm allowed to, but you see, we've tied our happiness naturally. You tie your home, and so what happens is that if those things don't materialize,
now you're depressed.
But if you really want to make progress and all of that, you have to be proactive, but also reactive. There should be a balance. Life happens. There are some things, you see, if you come to understand that there are some things you can control and things you can't control, you'd really go far. Now, things you can't control, death.
Leave them. They
exactly.
are there. They are part.
Thank you. Last year, I lost my dad. It was just 57. 57, very young man. Oh, now.
So the way I see, and all that. You know, me catch them, Madame Fubi. Me say, Obi Abe, you know, I mean, do what you have to do. So when it comes like, Pim now because the universe itself no can say exit and that who detach. Exactly. I mean who to me nya bibia no say on the ni mba ni nti obo mpa say na mema ni kakra na mba ni nyina yin am say na ne who sesia ono so ewu eja ne ba ne ti owo de can meet you at any point in time saburu eden na wonim everything spirituality. Exactly. Look at what he is going through now. So nipa bia ye nipa universe no woni rules and the regulations. Exactly.
And anything that has breath, Maka, say anything that has breath will one day die.
Most definitely.
Anything that has breath.
But you can't actually say that's your mind because some people have started creating a fraternity and they believe that they will not die. They see a tukura this same platform. They see a tukura will believe that one day it will come out. So people have different types of way, but because we are not unintelligent spiritualists we will not say the obedient yampa. We are open for everything that people are putting up and everything that people are thinking about. You are watching the biggest and the largest. And the topic empowerment. I think the randoms is okay. Can baby son so beko heaven that and but we can so no who are only like the BCBNC. Into the topic empowerment into take us through.
All right, so in fact I've said a lot which connects to because for me I believe that whatever we do in this life should be focused in impacting lives. And for me, youth now your country no more, a lot of them are wasting their lives. A lot of them. Like our generation is very lucky because compared to the previous times now, we've had so many opportunities we can utilize. But and then social media, they're for and it's funny, especially those who have not had the opportunity to go to school and all of that. You know, their situation is different because you're not on the same pedestal. But with people who have been able to go to school, when you engage them and realize that these are people, as I sit here as a writer, they are done with the university, but even how to write a statement of purpose, it is sorry to say, it sounds crazy because people day in day out. Before I leave here, I have people even CV. And say, "Obi our school, where school now want to make sure CV there now." I mean, what are you trying to tell us? You understand? But I realize that a lot of times, we live in a, like people want to always go the linear way in that opese oko school or yeah course be ope oria waware wawo pay juma, then you die, that kind of linear line. But I believe that life as human as we are is to explore, and that is what the whites are doing and we are not doing. For them, I realized at one time I was asking myself, I don't know what at all is making us different from the whites. And then I realized that it is about you finding self-worth. That is the basic thing that they do. We call education system, and I say we encounter for not to say akola ya won ene kra no ye de share ne say you are great, you do this, you do, the platform is created ye ntia akola say
na akola no wo no hospital na omo ye ni date of birth certificate ni de ka ka na ade omo de be welcome akola unim school bag any BBR school, school bag, ne mean kites. I check a cranty on Bebre Akolani school, everything school to welcome the child into this world.
Sure.
So
exactly. Mindset. Into so they are not groomed to be dependent. They are not groomed. Yeah, part of the world now. Life now from infancy, mommy. Any papa, any sorry, and everywhere those are the agents of socialization. But I hadn't finished him. So my says and I'm starting. My quite sorry. I say, "Obi papa a carpenter or starting." I have cousins who are mechanics. All of them, all the guys were mechanics because that is the job of their dad. It is okay for you as a colleague now, but at least I don't want to believe that all of them wanted to be mechanics. I want to believe that some of them wanted to explore other things, but they were restricted. Growing up, because they learned just that, they feel like, okay, that is all about life, and then I met me and make it scar. But that is limiting, and limitation has to come with what you know. And to say, "Eno na unima," it's only ma the pama na mechanic na ejuma na unima. That is what you would want to do. But until you move out of your comfort zone, now you explore. You will never know. Mitina na me name that. Say one day I'll be a corporate MC and then a writer. Cause me the meaning I didn't even know what I would want to be. But for me, one thing that I realized was that sorry to say, I realized that in this life we would have different missions, but the vision may be one. So my vision in life, I basically is to impact lives. Whether I'm because at a point in my life I wanted to be a footballer. My dad was a footballer. Naturally, your background will have an effect on you. So somewhat I wanted to be. I played even up to Division 2. University and I'm a school team in Yama. At a point I wanted to be a footballer. Now me accounting or Legon, so I wanted to be an accountant too. Maybe in school I wanted to be a military because I'm very active, physically active, and then intellectually. So I'm there. So I wanted a job that I can strike a balance between my mental fortitude and then physical way, into military, obey hey, and I call bush so you'd have to use. So it was going to be.
Felt it was in you.
Exactly. So I tried. That was the only thing that I was consistent about in my life. I tried 5 consecutive times. Say Ghana. Ghana. But gracefully, things happen for reasons. And like I'm saying, when it happens, you have to learn from it. You
don't give up.
There are no regrets.
Exactly,
there are no regrets. Into me, and last one I felt so depressed because I'm not supposed to say this on camera, so I would keep it. So yes, at a point in time, I felt like, no, should I even do some changes to my biodata just to be able to, but I was like, my integrity, I was like, no.
Yeah.
So okay, then what can I do? The next option was to do law, because I'd wanted to do law too, but for me it was self-actualization. That was what I was going to do, more comfortable in life. But we see, and then I was like, okay, why don't I go and do the law? Because if I do the law, I can come back into the military as short service.
With your structure.
Exactly. And even with the age, because now we do age, but I think I was around the time 35. So me calculate here, the number of years I needed 5 so let me go and come.
And finding all means to get through to them.
Exactly. I started the law and I realized that the law was so nice. I didn't quite have me home, and every day in, day out, I get empowered and I'm very assertive. Make a margin. I realize
it's even beautiful to enter into a public then with a structure, so that they won't put you at certain places. A lawyer, a soldier lawyer, a lawyer, a soldier are our war front. They are not the same, but they are also just.
Sure.
So Nyankopon person won't call in grand star also change because of Jesus.
Oh. Into menos say am na okasa na kra. So jan efri meni so.
And the for
because law no I am there. And I realized that no law no because
ladder, longer ladder obetimi climb.
Secondly no soldier no mean say no I have a lot of soldier friends. You know people who were loud and but they come back and say yes sir. And I'm not that kind of person. That is not my true nature. That is not who I am. Say me who be na wrong guy. I'm very respectful, but I will say it exactly. Me when say soldier ni say no go area. You want to call catch your boss say no. We are just see. This day and age there are things going on. And I posted on Facebook say about this electricity thing, and I know a lot of my friends who are scared. And for me, I don't mind. Like I always say, if you find yourself, it's one of the greatest things that can ever happen to you. Because as I sit here, even though I want to do law, I'm not desperate to be a lawyer. But I have a lot of friends who know what is going on.
Acquire the knowledge.
Exactly, for your life. The people who know what is going on.
What did you write on social media? I want to know.
Oh, yesterday I
about the light.
It was bad. But I basically wrote about the fact that they are insensitive. The whoever is, because the least you can do for the people is to give them a timetable. At least so that we can plan our lives. But say we all accept say and I can nyama are beyond our control. Say ABS kasem and I say so be na asa and that is technical and we have to just understand and then live with it in the time. Exactly. And which say responses say but nature say something that they know is happening, and so the light in the core of is deliberate in the sense say decided when to off it so that it can meet their requirements or whatever stand. So if you deliberately put it off, let us know such now if I say do mumu light and then for may buy and saw me light here. You see,
it's last week in ABC and they can say planter no work.
I tell you, and how many people can afford the plants?
And yes, some keto.
So these are questions that, and I have friends, people who know I feel so sad. People know the truth, but they don't come out to say because of Felice, me a law students. Yeah, and this day and age, I'm telling you, over law students. This year I'm writing the entrance exam. Utra, they come to your social media as part. It's not just about the exam. Oh yeah, exactly, they come to your social media and then I have friends who have deleted virtually everything. I tell people there's no way, nothing on this earth will make me delete anything because sometimes me feel say I've not done enough for myself. I go back to where I've come from. It encourages me, and this is who I am. Say, if you are training me to be a lawyer and I cannot come out to speak my mind, then what are you training me to be? That is democracy. Yes, I have to maintain some level of circumspection when it comes to my deliveries. You have to be sensitive, know what to say and what, but it doesn't mean you don't have to, because of course a radical system, people come against you and they will take you off. But like I'm saying, I'm not desperate to be a lawyer. If tomorrow I don't become a lawyer, because even with my
don't say that this your thing. So you also have that book, big book. Don't say that. It's a difficult thing. So come out if you don't want to be a lawyer. Don't tell them, they will use it against you. So it's okay. Don't say no more. I don't want you to be going through those sleepless nights. So you learn in the night.
You see, no, like that's what I'm saying. That people, for me, when I came to understand life and the spirituality we're talking, I don't tie my happiness. Because it's
a difficult thing. So they pass. Why? So say pick categories of youth. Be static, believe in so much na wana nyankopon be free throw. Abraham, I employ someone now say obekwa sovereignty this day oh nyakwan ba. And I'm like, wow. And you want to be a pastor walk into this office, a guest walk into this studio. And that time now I always want to work with only guys. I don't like working with girls. I have my reason for that. And a guy back one always through hono or catch that guy and he say, wo onyankopon sa wo so or do be ejuma kese pa ba ha na wo no be baslide ha na wo no ntumi mbobra bia. And I'm like,
and this is only work because you see, because okwa nti dia we abeka ahwe ne bia no
so no odo nyame one say me person make say omodo nyame na they don't know na for mo be vulnerable.
Exactly.
Obibini the other day a pastor was talking na me hwe dim say hey African man na why bodo
I mean,
because of what if I say right now they will increase the witchcraft thing on my abrabo. So let's leave it.
For me,
pick
witchcraft.
The youth. Important to me right now because anybody that will pick and because of the youth or what I'll take you for I'll take advantage on them. Or back in the youth or boy only on margin. Would you be a wunjina any political way, no wunjina any social way, I will pay views and so I be the casa minimum net and the youth and so boy. We a youth ni bia. Okay, so I want you to pick 10 different places and youth new womb conditions youth new womb o picking no ha say be a sorry 24 me baby the my friend be for say uncle sorry almost or say uncle say I came here to learn, I didn't come here for church. Sure. You can say whatever into picking near my 10 wo for say you to know omo kom because of religion but nkomo ye ni senya and come back pim and now but they should do this. What I say, often this face now this face kataso na yenko.
All right. And see, I think the first one that I want to start with is extracurricular activities. Extracurricular activities, no, it's not limited to school, but availing yourself. Because this is an American. I started the church with a lot of people, but at this day and age, no, my friends cannot do. And that is because you're quite sorry, no, or Kobi keke, you no monko. I saw your programs, this relationship talks, this empowerment programs, youth empowerment. I organized a lot of these programs, and even beyond me, the church organizes some of them, like empowerment, where you learn how to write CVs, or coin tips, all organizing more. These things are organized for them. They don't come into so sorry every day. Now obekoa but yen so na yesua ya ene aboya ye like ye bibi, so they should involve themselves in leadership positions. Don't look down on yourself because na uka obi na low self esteem me low self esteem because I lost a lot. It's more devilish than what we call the devil, because there were a lot of things that I could have done even as a young man. Me go school in Anipo D school prefect with my class. Me na me inspire no. But me now see me ko jina nkofo ni mkasa. But today, give me any crowd, 2,000 people over. Me jina me find my car. I can just speak to anybody. And it was all because I involved myself in these things. The second issue now make about the grace and then we know you don't need a third party. You have the power. In Mpaibo na akwakobo Mpai no. I see Mpaibo it should be more of thanksgiving. Okodanya me ase. But it is enya oho na obekona ode wo beto fam say bibi enyama. There was one time lady be woman sorry very spiritual or tony sorry very nice. In fact I could say crass or your virgin or be find that kind of people ni be but on your opportunity she's now in the UK, and at the latter part she didn't even have a CV. Wakon nursing school she didn't even have a CV. It took my intervention at the last minute obehu Mr. Franco Pacho of a CV. On the day I had to even lie because clinical so Quaye as a nurse, no, she didn't even have any connection with them. Obi contact poor ni supervisor na she didn't have anything. Hospital no dimpen no. So at the end of the day, because of many connections, connecting me to people, I had a friend in a church who has a hospital. Into many cases, opportunity to be seen now, but let me use your hospital as details for and I'm sure I could do because say nyame. But if we hadn't
do so uncle to you not on the way. Uncle to you prayer warrior ni biom.
Thank you.
And so kwa no imagine as so could do what then they understand what we are saying.
Sure. My kid brother is in the US. Or are very spiritual. Honestly say no or the associate or spiritual. But I tell him that on your pastor or your inspirational speaker, enyama wafemu ena oka because we share all the people who share congregation now. He's my brother, but I'm saying he knows. We say our mind. We are that progressive. I'm finding my personal. Before I'm saying, have you ever seen a white? Because they don't think like you. Because our system is working. I sorry now. I'm a Juman. Or the Juman a year Juma. The Juman say system year Juma. The system year Juma. You have to pay bills, tax. Nyama. Okotinasia. Kombedo. So you'd always want to go to work, make so much.
Send now 5 hours.
Thank you. Until be about midday service, midday spiritual service, miracle service. Nobody's ready for that. But yet people. So that is just part of the things that I'm saying. Another one is worshiping our pastors and all of that the youth are doing. I tell them that you see your parents, maybe you know, na me mama and papa, and I respect them. So I respect virtually everybody. But say obi, na me owe them allegiance and na bibia. They were my parents. Even them, my dad made us from a younger age. Or share say he doesn't owe us anything, and you also don't owe him anything. Today, your catcher will say
responsibility.
Yes. But or the share to the extent say me no, and then I've been able to eschew any form of entitlement. I didn't me dear me fa me was here me nika me bra penny waka me nua ketewa e waka me nika officer me wo mu ejuma obi a waka me nika me di menum papa me dress yeah me dress because obi ane de ha no me ma obi pressure enchi me
ma pressure what be who before your pressure
me mo bia when the time is due and I think I need a car, fine. If I don't need it, but we tie nyama bi to nyama bi sum pastors. If we say or suffer no say. And we feel like you see the Bible is there for us. It's an open book for those who are in the church. You can read brofo. Until when you read, you can apply it to your life. You don't need the men of God are there. Yes, we are even in school. And then we have also become better people. But man, sorry, one day I tried. Ubi try me. But the fact that teacher and chairman say on Bibia and I have to worship the teacher. It's only a guide. Thank you. So a guide. Exactly. Into Nipano air guide do. Nipano air guide do. But you don't worship. I have friends Oka Astoria. In fact, COVID by that it was also a turning point. That was when I realized the true nature of people. I was a youth president at the time. It was either youth or vice president at the time. Could you imagine say as youth no be by me ho say come diom into me list down people that we can help.
Now the Quaye.
Groups in the church decided to organize themselves a donation a command as software. Now in the Catholic Church bishop no and from Rome they take care of what everybody, but these were people even in their immediate homes there were people who were hungry and all of that. They went to the priest, and you know the funny thing, when they went, the clergy, we call them clergy, they were in their friary and they were wearing nose masks. Remupo enimho and nobody gives them more and nobody can share inside. I mean, if this is a person coming to church teaching you about God is all powerful, come it by and wash nose mask say on share but wash. It should tell you say two. The guy sorry. We no so I was say that should even be an awakening. Say, it's everyone for himself.
Yes.
Because everybody wants now. Sorry, or say or preach. No, or share if you. But oh, sorry. We no so what time we nyama now? We come on. Uba room now. We share Sunday. Say na yes sir. Of a friend of a tree. Say almost sat no. I don't have an issue. You see, these are people who have dedicated their lives to the church. But you see, when you do it beyond your personal self or people around you, now just to please the people, priest or more favor from priest. Now then I see that you are going astray. So to the youth, you are not supposed to worship your pastors and all of that. They are just supposed to be a guide to you, to your life and all of that. Also, when you take responsibility of your life, if you become cautious and then conscious about your life, there are a lot of things you can do. And one thing the very last thing that I want to say is about conscience and instincts. In all my life, these are the two things that have guided me. My fear about Quaye was to work with money, but today the interesting thing is that I'm working with money, and all my life these things ukoya dia and yet the uncle for how I the uncle kukum obian show CCTV camera so we sika what you control. That is what is more important. Your conscience when you are alone. Instincts, when you build your instincts, you'll be able to take the right decisions. And when you have these two things intact, you can go anywhere. Prison. And so still, because you know, you have that mental liberation. And when that is there, it is fine. Then say you catch yourself when you're comfort, what's not about this we are comfort. It would forever derail you.
You know yourself on your bed.
Exactly.
Now can maybe how people pair people in the church for marriage. But our time is almost done.
Okay.
So it's your last words, and when you are done in 1 minute, you leave your social media handles for people to ask questions or follow.
All right. So I would basically want to say I've set times with that number because people think I'm an atheist. I'm not an atheist. But I want to say that religion is not a problem as a country, as a continent. It is how we practice the religion. That is what has been a problem. How people are abusing religion and all of that. And again, the youth are not really taking advantage of the opportunities available to them. We are so much soaked into this religion thing that we are losing sight of who we are, our true connection, and how far we can go in life. And if we can redirect our path, if we can strike a balance between being religious and using logic, science, and being practical, we can really go far as a country. I remain MC Frank. When you go to social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, the name is MC Frank Quaye. And like I've said earlier, I'm an accountant, I'm a freelance writer, I'm a corporate MC, and now a law student. Thank you. Sure.
Yo, thank you so much for coming. You to know, someone to Muamuni, I made a abrewa. Nti me nyame na mbeka so ya chamuna munim eja amona mu no mu bi nti ndia wafa na ode ye adwuma ni nti mon piki bi listen obi antanyo bia o no obi antanyo bia but ebi mo ane o motena se na o kasa na eya ahomtesem because ucha na to say real giftings e wo nipa we mu ba ya ka chen se wo ye senya ya bronsam adwuma we wo ye se obi na make my own office osofo a waba asore no hu boy ne ka chen se wo nyame frɛ wo so and necessary not if you in ma for this is what we are going through. My son, thank you so much. How old are you? Man can around
30.
So my son, my son, thank you so much for taking this step. Okay, love people like you. Why can be anti men yet we keke like fire juma fabo wa bosso na obedu wenim what thank you so much for coming. Ebusia, thank you so much for watching. The youth, mon pick a point to na mon fan take it off. Mona mo ba boy and that you ye mre twam makramu.